And away we go.
All right, so how's your day been so far?
Great.
Yeah, my day has not been really that eventful, but it's all right for the most part. But let's get right into the news.
Okay, let's see what there is. Pope Francis has bilateral pneumonia, but remains in good mood, Vatican says.
Pope Francis?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but at least he's remaining positive about everything. I mean, to be fair, I don't really know much about Pope Francis. I've heard some things here and there. I've seen him do certain actions that were very questionable. Definitely very questionable. And I've even seen some statements from him that were also very questionable, but uh I will say at the end of the day he is an old man. Like how old is he? Like 90?
90, 80 something.
Yeah, he's somewhere between those two. But yeah, it's like, I do hope that he remains okay, and I honestly hope that he gets better. I mean, definitely don't want the guy to die, but it's like he is a pretty old guy. I'll be honest. You know what I really wondered though? I honestly do wonder how does the. Nah, I'll look it up later. I was gonna say like how did they choose a new pope, but I'll look that up later. You know when I have nothing better to do. But yeah, for the most part, I hope he gets better, and I hope he remains positive about regardless of his situation. And yeah, many blessings be to him. You know.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, but is there anything else in the news?
Jerry Seinfeld shuts down activist Palestine question.
So how does he shut down the Palestine activist question?
Alright, Jerry Seinfeld stated, I don't care about Palestine, emphasizing his support for Israel and the Jewish people.
Okay, okay. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not necessarily. It's like I said before. I'm not necessarily gonna take one side or the other. I'm simply on the side of people living and people stopping war and people just I'm just not on one or the other side, because if I'm on one side I'm supporting a killing on the other side, so it's kind of a win-lose situation. I mean, it's popular to support Palestine because people see Israel just getting involved, people seeing Israel getting involved with our country, so it's pretty popular to hate Israel. And with Palestine, it's like I just don't care. I'm not gonna lie, before this whole thing, I didn't even know that there was a place called Palestine. Like before Palestine got into the news, I didn't even know there was a place called Palestine. If I'm being 100% honest with myself, so you know, it just is what it is. People will pick their sides. People will either pick a side or either not pick a side. I'm not even gonna say I'm in the middle. I'm just not on any side. I'm just I obviously don't want anybody to die, but also they're not my countries. I'm not from Palestine, nor am I from Israel. But it is what it honestly is. What it is at the end of the day.
And it was what it was.
Exactly. But yeah, regardless, yeah, there are people who care about Palestine and care about Israel, and that nothing I say is gonna really change that. So I mean, yeah, it's like I said, we move forward in life, and we just keep pushing, because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people think that like the many a lot of people think that they can make things better, but in order to make things heal, in order to make things truly function in this life, we all have to come into agreement, and that's never going to happen
At least for a while.
for a while or never. But actually, it's definitely possible for us to all come into agreement. It's just that, bro, we have to stop being so self-centered. It's like we have to like stop worrying about our own worldviews and truly come together and see the root of the problem. We got to stop complaining about things that don't matter. We got to stop complaining about things that we got to stop complaining about things that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things, and start and start taking action on things that do matter. I'm not even gonna say complaining on things that do matter, because complaining is not really gonna do anything. We just got to start taking action, and a lot of people don't want to take action because of the we're in the internet age, and a lot of people think that they're like you anyone can be an activist, really. Just get the right soundbite on from TikTok. Record yourself and voice your disdain for a certain place or a certain group of people or a certain country or even a certain race. It's like yeah, people think that anyone can be an activist now. It's just it's just the fact. Are you willing to take action, go up to the place, risk your life, do this and that, etc., etc., etc.? I mean, shoot. I mean, even Malcolm X, man, he risked it. He risked his life for something that he believed to be true. He was probably he was most likely talking about the same things that a lot of people are talking about today. And he died for it. That's what a lot of people aren't willing to do. They're not willing to die for their beliefs. They're willing to have it and say and claim it to be truth. But are you actually willing to put your life on the line for it? I'm not saying that has to always be the case, but I am saying it's like, if you hold dear to that truth, you should definitely, be able to deal with the consequences that come with it and not compromise at the last minute once your money is being once your money is being like, tampered with, like some people do. Shoot. Even Kanye folded a bit. Nah, he's still talking, but in a way I think he still folded a bit. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Yeah, the point of the matter is it's like a lot of people just claim it to be truth, but they're not willing to die on that hill. Some people are. I'll give them that. Like, actually no. Social media wise, yes, they're willing to die on that hill. But physical wise, no. No one is willing to die on that hill. They'll change their mind. They'll change their minds real quick. But I suppose, like, if there's actually substance to that truth, yeah, people are willing to risk their lives over it. People are willing to even, like, make a whole commotion about it and, like, tell other people. And, obviously, pretty much it's like I would say like, they're willing to like be like a Christian or even a Muslim, and like, because pretty much it's like, for people like die what they believe to be true, or what they see, or like what they've experienced to be true. So I'd say, like, if it's that case, then yeah, if people are willing to, like, how do I say this, make what they're preaching to be their gospel, their good news, then yeah, they'll die on that hill proudly. But most people aren't willing to actually die on that hill. They'll risk their social media career, they'll risk everything else, but they're not willing to just suffer the real life consequences for what they say. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Is there anything else in the news?
Mongolia to up coal exports to China by 20% in 2025.
Wait, hold on, say that one more time.
Mongolia to up coal exports to China by 20% in 2025.
Uh, is that good?
Well, either way, something's going up.
Yep. I mean, with China, it seems like we talk about China in every episode. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yes, every now and then. China, China, China.
It's
And
like,
China too.
I'm not gonna lie. I wonder if anything is gonna happen with the United States and China. I wonder if we would ever go to war with China, even though we get stuff from them.
Not militarily, but trade-wise for sure.
Yeah, trade wise. Yeah, trade wise. Yeah, I wonder if we would ever go to war with China. That's what I wonder. Either way, only time will tell. A lot of things are going on in China, whether they be good or bad, and you never really know what the economy is like in China. But I'm not gonna lie. I wonder if things more expensive in China or the United States.
The US.
Yeah, go figured. Yeah, I thought so. It's very unfortunate, but you can't really control that. I mean, you could easily just move to another country, or even another state, or even for things to be a little bit lower. But you never really know.
Yeah,
You really never even know.
exactly.
I do wonder. However, I know that there are places that operate under their own government. I wonder if those places are sell cheap stuff. Obviously, they get their stuff from like probably the main source of the United States, and then they just sell it, and then they just for a reasonable price. But I do wonder, because I don't know, because I saw this very small town, and yeah, it said they had their own government, their own mayor, etc., etc., etc. And yeah, I'll probably look into it eventually. Are you there?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure because I don't know why the sound from my end sometimes fluctuates when I'm on here. I don't know why, especially when my phone is dying.
Very true.
But yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Indeed, there is. NASA increases chance city-killing asteroid will hit Earth in 2032.
City killing asteroid, huh?
Yep.
2032.
Yes, 2032.
Are we sure? Or I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I really do question things at times, bro. Because it's
NASA just increased the chances of a city-killing asteroid will crash into Earth in 2032. The
they
space agency, which declared the asteroid the most dangerous object near Earth, said the risk of impact currently stands at 2.6% in its latest update.
wow. Um, I guess we'll wait and see what happens in 2032.
Yeah,
Right now we're in 2025. To be fair, I really don't trust NASA. Are they saying it's coming from space?
apparently.
Okay. I still don't trust NASA because I'm not gonna lie. I don't think we can get out of this realm, bro. So I don't know. I just don't believe in space that much. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Can argue with
But
that.
what's up, Risk? How you doing, man?
Trump and Elon are gonna audit Fort Knox. Fort Knox.
Fort
The last
Knox.
time that was audited was in the 1975.
Oh wow. I'm not
50
gonna
years
lie.
ago.
I'm not gonna
Before
lie.
Nixon took them off the gold standard. Or after.
Ah, yes. Nixon gold standard
Or
is taken
what's
off.
didn't you say it was a guy before that?
Well, actually, Franklin D. Roosevelt was the first to introduce the idea of taking the US dollar off the gold standard, but then it was Nixon that actually executed the plan to do so.
Either way, it'll be great. I hear that supposedly London's moving a lot of gold to New York recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder why.
Yeah, they're trying to make it so there's actually gold there, but there isn't. We all know there ain't gold.
I'll
They've
be
been
honest.
making short in gold for decades.
Are London and New York similar?
The same thing.
Yeah. Go figured.
Same thing, same experience. People that are running the show. Talks supposedly went really well with Ukraine and with Russia and America. Visa and MasterCard are supposedly going to be operating, doing business again in Russia.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to
Thing
hear.
is, though, right? All these local companies, McDonald's, all these companies, right? They sold out. Oh, we're going to fuck Russia. They sold all their business, right? But after this war's done, they're going to buy it right back in. But now they face a harder market because there's actually Russian competitors that are actually doing extremely well.
Yeah, that's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Well, either way, Russia already announced that we're getting into cryptocurrency like a couple months ago, so either way.
Can I tell you what I think is going to happen? I think it's going to be revealed that there's a lot less gold there. They're going to realize Trump's going to realize that Russia and China have more gold than them. So he's going to strategically force the government to buy as much Bitcoin as possible, right? Bitcoin as possible. He's going to buy as much Bitcoin as he fully can, and the price of Bitcoin's going to fucking go up the fucking moon.
It's gonna get jacked.
Yeah, I think that's what people are saying. I truly do believe it. I don't believe that they've got the gold. They say they've got the gold. There's rumors that the Bank of England's been lying about their gold reserves, and they only looked at like 5% of Fort Knox, right? When they did that tour, right, to check through the gold. They didn't even look at even 1/5 of only looked at 1/5 of what was in that.
Yeah.
How long until cryptocurrency becomes the official currency that we have to use on a day-to-day basis?
I don't think it'll just be one currency, if I'm being honest.
Oh, shit.
Eric,
Like,
it'll
you
be
need to,
a technical instrument, right? It'll be it'll be something that'll be back. The currency will be back to Bitcoin or something like that. So you'll still be paying US dollars, right? Paying some US dollars in cash, right? It's just that Bitcoin will probably be backed by the paper currency will be backed by Bitcoin.
Gotcha.
I don't. As much as the Americans want, as much as the elite want us to go to currency, I don't think Trump has any. I don't think Trump or any other administration actually wants that in America. I think they want. I think they want. They want paper currency, right? But they want to back the US dollar by with something.
Mm.
They're not going to back it by gold. They're going to back it with Bitcoin.
You know, that makes a lot of sense because I don't think people would like take too kindly to like losing paper currency, anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, Gen Z.
you said what?
Well, Gen Z don't really use cash to begin with. If we're being fucking really honest. There's some that are trendy and use it, but the vast majority don't. I would say it's a long time. I don't think it. I don't know.
I think there are people who just use it to flash.
Yes. I think there'll be a couple people that. I think they'll still be. I think paper currency will still be afloat. It's just that Bitcoin will be. But Bitcoin will back the US dollar. And I would be surprised if Trump basically backs the US dollar with Bitcoin. So like one Bitcoin equals like one US dollar or something like that. Or they peg Bitcoin to the US dollar. And I would be surprised if Ethereum gets the UK pegs Ethereum to the US dollar, to the UK dollar, UK pound sterling. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows? The thing is, I would be surprised if China starts using cryptocurrencies and that, right, for payments.
Yeah, crypto is certainly the way of the future, whether people like it or not.
Lots of money. People invest in Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor's got one of the MicroStrategy, or what it was, right? One of the biggest companies that own Bitcoin, right? Massive amounts of Bitcoin, right? If you're wanting to bet on them, owning MicroStrategy might simply be a decent hedge because it basically they own that much Bitcoin. It could be a good hedge against freaking. It's being a major big business now. Effectively, it's basically just holding Bitcoin and effectively be doing stuff with crypto wallets and all that. So what else is there?
That was something a moment ago. UK on collision course with Russia over peacekeeping troops in Ukraine.
This guy just wants to get us into war.
They really do.
Again, does he really think, America's going to come and save us? They're not.
No, you can't
India's
always
not
just
going to
rely
come
on the
and
US
save us.
forever.
India ain't going to come and save us. Australia probably won't. They'll be thinking, what the fuck is wrong with you? Canada will probably get involved because that's fucking deluded.
Like, you know it's a bad idea. Even the German government have said, don't do this. It's not a good idea.
It's not a good idea unless you want war. I don't even think all of Europe's truly interested in war with Russia. I think. I'm sorry, but why do they care? Well, I'm sorry, why do they care? Why would you want to normalize relationships with Russia, right? You can still sell, you'll be able to profit and get oil, cheap oil and gas. America and Britain British investors can invest back in Russia and make money. You can invest in the oil and gas business. I think the only ones that are smart enough is Unilever deciding not to fucking sell. Because I wouldn't, if I were them, I wouldn't sell. Keep your business. Profit off it. You'd be retarded to sell. Especially if you're getting a peace deal. There's people saying that Russia is, I would say, what do you think is going to happen, guys, when the West, America, realizes that they've got more in common religious-wise and political-wise with Russia than they have the entire thing of Western Europe?
I thought we kind of already knew that we had more in common.
No, but I know that, but what if Trump makes the correlation? Why are we siding with Europe, Western Europe, right? Let's be real here. They don't worship religion. They don't have any religion. They don't represent God. They don't worship any God. They prefer to worship, if I'm being honest, well, at least Russia and America share more similar values than effectively than freaking Western Europe. Don't get me wrong, Russia's an authoritarian state. But they're as capitalistic as freaking America. Right? They invest in their own company, they have their own entrepreneurs, they have their own businessmen. They make money.
And the subway is amazing. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's like a palace down there.
Oh yeah, I think I actually saw this video. I think they're gonna try to change the subway situation in New York in a bit. I'm not really sure when.
Your mayor is apparently trying to is working with Trump to basically get the whole immigration situation under control in the city of New York.
Mayor Eric Adams.
Yes. Yes. Supposedly, I think he's turned cold. He's turned traitor on the Democrats. Supposedly, that's what I've heard. Anyway,
I'll be honest.
and the reason is the fact that he's coming close to election. If he doesn't fucking pull his weight and help Trump, I can guarantee you, after the election, he's gonna probably sign lawsuits against the bloke. So he's giving him a chance. You fucking do the right thing. If you don't do the right thing, you fuck up. You don't get everything done. I'm putting the legislation on you. I'll send the freaking district court. I don't know. I don't know what will happen. What do you think the chances that there could be civil war in America?
What kind of civil war are we talking about?
Where the Democrat states rebel for their own confederacy.
Well, as of now, chances are unlikely, but as the years go by, it gets more likely as the years go by.
What do you think the chances are that there's a couple new states created before end of Trump's term?
I don't think new states will be created, but I
Do you
think there
think
will be
certain districts will probably merge into other and become bigger states?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There are parts of Eastern Oregon that wants to join with Idaho.
I think
And there's petitions going around.
I think there's parts of California that want to join as well.
Join what?
No, I think there's parts of California that want to form their own state or join another conservative state, and let LA and the freaking freak shows have their own state.
Okay.
It's mainly the people in the areas of Sacramento and near that area. I think could have been wrong, but yeah. What do you think Britain? What do you think the chances that Britain has civil war?
I think it is more likely for civil war in Britain than in America. However, the chances are never guaranteed as of now. Although things are looking
The way
pretty dire.
he's going, the fact that he's wanting to push young men to war, I can't see that going down very well with the people in the rural areas. I can't see that going down well.
But what are they going to do about that?
Petition to form their own government?
But even then, how are they going to take that?
Local councillors vote to become their own nation. They abandon Britain. I can see certain parts. Certain parts of the country. When it becomes realistic with people and realise that certain parts of the country are lost, specifically London. I personally am a big advocate for moving the capital of the UK to somewhere else. Where do you suggest would be a good place for the capital? I also in favour of moving the capital of frickin' Scotland to somewhere else. Out of Edinburgh. Preferably, I'd like to move it somewhere down near the northeast.
Maybe.
But yeah.
Yeah, so what else?
I'm not sure.
UK Treasury rejects farmers' proposed compromise on inheritance tax.
What was their compromise?
The president of the National Farmers Union says there is quote-unquote fury and quote-unquote anger among farmers after the government refused to change its controversial inheritance tax plans.
No, I want to know what their proposals were.
Let's see.
Tell us what their proposals are, because I'm curious.
I'll get into that.
Cool.
So, the plans continue to face intense opposition from the sector, which says cash-poor, asset-rich farmers will be forced to sell their land, investments will stall, and the families of elderly or vulnerable farmers who do not have time for succession planning will be the most affected. Despite ongoing farmer protests, Labour has insisted it will not reconsider the proposed changes, which are due to come into force from April 2026. He said the government showed quote-unquote
will even be around in April.
Yeah.
I don't think he will. I think he'll be sacked before then. I personally think he'll be sacked. I think he's pissed people off. He's pissed the Americans off. He's pissed half of our European allies off. The way that the Europeans are acting, like they're mad that they can't censor their own public. They're mad that JD Vance called them out on their shit. They're mad at the fact that this is not controversial ideas. We feel very concerned that the shared values that we share. Quite honestly, going down the title, we fought a war with you, against the Cold War with you guys, against people that quite honestly did not care about elections.
I remember the days when people didn't even care for JD Vance. Gonna be honest with you.
I still am cautious about him. I don't know what he'll do, but I thought the speech that he gave in Munich was quite interesting. And a lot of Germans, a lot of Europeans who liked it because it was great. They keep on saying that everybody hated it. No, it was just you elite Europeans from the European Union that hated it. That's the majority of the public fucking agreed with him. People that they're being censored. Supposedly, Soros is going to be bringing his guy, going to be trying to fund his weird US aid projects in Brussels. They're going to try and do it anyway. But so what else is there?
Company receives USDA conditional approval for bird flu for chickens.
US
USDA, yes. You know what it
is
stands for?
that US aid?
No, USDA stands for the US Department of Agriculture.
In my view, I would look into that because that looks a little dodgy. Why the hell are you for chickens?
Yeah, that is a bit dodgy.
Why are you trying to do eggs? You ever realize that all these things, all these bird flu cases, right? It's just a reason for them to cull the bird production, right? And limit the demand for chicken, control the chicken demand in the chicken markets or the egg market. They already culled a massive amount of birds, right? You cull the birds, right? They cull the chickens. You have a shortage. You have shortages on eggs, which increases prices on eggs, which makes people have to freaking hoard for eggs because prices will go up because of supply and demand. If there's not enough eggs to fill the market, it'll be harder for these people to get eggs. Like Costco, Walmart, Kroger, Albertsons, it'll be harder for them to get eggs because they'll have to pay more because it's going to be harder for them because there's not as many eggs in the market. Which in turns, Kroger, Walmart, Albertsons, and God knows who else, maybe Lowe's or Walgreens, they'll end up raising prices. So whoever's idea it was to cull those birds, you should bring them up. Were those birds necessarily need to be culled? Or are you just doing it because you want to freaking control the supply of eggs? Same with beef. It's never about the disease of the cattle. It's always about controlling the production. They control the production. Well, if there's not enough production, you might be forced to eat the plant-based meat. But yeah.
Or you might eat the bugs.
Yes. And even then, you're still going to be eating the plant-based milk. Because I can guarantee you, what type of milk do you think they're using in Costco and Starbucks?
Hmm.
Do you think it's actual semi-skimmed, or do you think it's Alpro or Oatly?
Well, you're never gonna know until you actually look into the milk itself, because that's what really tells the story in the
Or
milk
has it
production.
got the weird freaking thing? You know the thing where they had to put the certain types of milk, certain types of thing with Arla products, right? That went away pretty quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Like, what kind of chemicals or substances that were put into these foods, which people then consume? Like, there's tons of it in the US. Like, that's bad enough as it is.
I think yeah. So what people Trump's got put in? Tulsi Gabbard got in. RFK Jr.
Yes.
She's the Homeland Security, ain't she?
Tulsi Gabbard, Homeland Security. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's right.
Kash Patel, did he get in? Has he been put in, or is he waiting?
Let me check. It's likely he's already in.
Okay.
Wait, you know what I wonder?
Well,
Why do job applications specifically have that if you're either Hispanic or not Hispanic or Latino?
because they're racist. So basically, they're basically trying to only want to hire certain races.
That makes a
They're
lot of
clearly
sense.
racist.
Well, yeah,
The fact that you're having to they're putting race on that is just racist. In fact,
kind of
like,
is.
like you're truly qualified for the job. What matter does it matter if you're racial?
I
As
don't know.
long as you came here legally, you're working here, you pay your taxes, you're a legal citizen. You haven't crossed across the border illegally to come here, and you're not currently committing a crime. It should not be no problem.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I guess they
Does
just
that
prefer.
make you? Does that mean? Like, does that mean you're actually going to be like people think that just because you were born, you're here, you were born in, you're here, you got Indian heritage, you were born here, that makes you English. It doesn't. It means you're British. You can only technically be English if you actually have English descent. You were
That's
born
true.
here.
Alright, lads, I got the list of Trump's second cabinet.
Let's see his cabinet. What's his second? What's his first cabinet?
The first cabinet, I don't have the list, but I think it's mostly different from the second president cabinet.
Okay, so Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State.
Scott Bessent, Secretary of the Treasury. Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. Pam Bondi, Attorney General. Doug Burgum, Secretary of the Interior. Brooke Rollins, Secretary of Agriculture. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Secretary of Health and Human Services. Scott Turner, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Sean Duffy, Secretary of Transportation. Chris Wright, Secretary of Energy. Doug Collins, Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security. Okay, it's Kristi Noem, Security. Lee Zeldin, Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency.
Lee Zeldin. I think she might be Jewish. I think she might also be. I think she might have ties to Big Pharma. Can't remember or not. I think one of them. I think what was it? What was the person that was his go-to? That was Trump's basically main negotiator, main person. If I remember correctly, she had big ties to Big Pharma. I don't think that was her there, but continue.
Okay. So, Kristi Noem, Lee Zeldin, Russell Vought, Director of the Office of Management and Budget. Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence.
Why is there so many fucking agencies?
Well, who knows?
I mean, why would you need to streamline that down? Why do we have so many fucking security thingies? Security bit thingies. Why couldn't we just roll them into like 5 organizations, right? Why do we need fucking 13 security agencies? To me, that just seems like a waste of money and taxpayers' money. Who knows?
Yes. Alright, John Radcliffe, Director of the Central Intelligence Agency.
I've heard of that one, yes.
And finally, Susie Wiles, Chief of Staff. And that is it as of now.
Susie Wiles.
Yes.
I think that's the person that was his main correspondent, the Big Pharma person. But yeah. So what do you think of Trump's first couple of days? Was he doing all right? Doing bad?
Well, it's not bad, but I think there is more that his second presidency is yet to do. It is early days, so we'll have to wait and find out what is to come.
He made history with the whole thing. I still think he'll take Canada. I still think Canada should join America as a state. Personally, Britain should as well, but it is what it is.
It was what it was.
Yes. What else is there? Is that us?
There's more. Getting Cyprus natural gas to market via Egypt hailed as milestone.
Well, that also begs the question, right? We have some of the most pristine fishing rights in this country, in Britain, right?
Yeah.
Yet we import fish.
Yeah, okay, that's just stupid. Like, if we have
We
so
have some
much...
of the most patriotic fishing rights in the whole entire fucking Western continent.
Yeah,
and
we
yet
still
we
import the fish.
frickin' fish.
That is just
That is what
counterintuitive.
we let fucking Europeans fucking pillage our fishing ground.
That's just sad. Wasted opportunity there.
Yes. Who knows?
Who knows, yeah?
Yeah, honestly, who knows? So, is there anything else in the news?
Hundreds of people protest layoffs outside of Colorado National Park.
What are they protesting about this time?
The U.S. Forest Service and National Park Service are eliminating 4,400 jobs to reduce federal spending as part of President Trump's budget plan.
So they're protesting because they're losing their jobs, pretty much. Okay. I suppose that's not completely...
Zuckerberg just sacked a bunch of like freaking engineers. I think yesterday or a couple of days ago from Facebook. Meta basically just sacked a bunch of people.
When aren't Meta not sacking a bunch of people?
They're also complaining because he went after people that were effectively on leave. Probably just people to get rid of.
Yeah, I mean, it's messed up, especially if they're on leave.
Yeah.
What are you really gonna do?
Yeah. What can you do about it? What else is there?
Thinking Machine Labs is ex-OpenAI CTO Mira Murati's new startup. Mira Murati has launched Thinking Machines Lab, which aims to create customizable, multimodal AI systems that work collaboratively.
I don't think AI is ever going to take off. I don't think it'll ever be profitable, at least not in this time. I think it's a big grift. Like, it'll make money, but I don't think it's going to be as profitable as they say it is. I think
At
overhead
least
costs
not
are
in
going
this
to cost too
decade.
much. Not in this decade, at least.
Yeah.
You'll see the benefits of it 2 decades from now, but again, I think there's a lot of cost, a lot of building out infrastructure, and not enough profits to warrant they're spending. Apple's supposedly dropping a new phone. I really could give 0 fucks.
Yeah,
Phones
honestly,
are too expensive.
I mean, I'm not gonna.
Same old.
I'm not gonna.
Supposedly all they're doing is change a couple buttons.
Yeah, I'm not
And
gonna.
added some new things too.
I'll get
Like,
a new phone, but I'm probably not gonna get the latest new phone. That's what I'm saying, you know?
I need a new phone, but I'm probably not getting one anytime soon.
Yeah. I'll get a new phone still, just not the latest one. I'll probably get it a couple years when it's like cheaper or something. I don't know. Yeah, because it's like, I'm not gonna lie. I used to get excited about like getting a new phone, but ultimately it's just, I don't know. It's like, just whatever.
Well, you realize it's just another cost,
Exactly.
another bill.
I don't know if it's, I also don't know if it's because I'm just an adult now and it's like, all right, but I don't know. It's like, it's just not exciting anymore. I mean, it's more exciting when you're a kid. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Things are a lot more exciting when you're a kid because, like,
Yeah.
the world is still new to you. But as an adult, it's like things are just whatever. What? Is there anything else in the news?
Yes.
Kraft Heinz is to sell their baby food brand, but they said they were going to do that 2 years ago, but they didn't sell it because it wasn't profitable for them. What else is there?
Vietnam strict new social media regulations strangle free speech. New government regulations on social media in Vietnam gives authorities increased powers to prevent dissent and control the news, along with the tools to more easily track down critics and silence them, according to an analysis released Tuesday.
They can't be democratic if you're fucking criticizing. You can't criticize the state, can you? I'm surprised Starmer hasn't freaking added this. You criticize him, you call him Judas. You'll get arrested. Well, he is Judas. There's images of him freaking having a video conversation with the fucking Muslim leaders. Tweeted it to his own platform. How the fuck are we not supposed to think him Judas? You're talking to other leaders, unelected Muslim leaders, but you're not talking to the everyday British public. What do you think the chances that the British monarchy falls in the next 2 decades?
The next 2 decades.
Or at least falls after Charles. I can't see the kingdom standing. I can't see us not becoming a republic. Because
I give it 5 decades, and then I will start to think about will the British monarchy last beyond that.
Sorry, I had to go get the mail. What are we talking about?
we're saying, when do you think the British monarchy will fail? Because I think, Jamie, I honestly do believe that Charles has actually pushed a lot of people that were hard right monarchists, right? With his actions about not protecting the British citizen. Once we're dead, right? Who says that we're going to fucking want to protect? The Muslims are actually going to want to keep the monarchy, right?
Speaking of which, I wonder how
If
long
we
will it
reform
take.
it to a Muslim monarchy, even maybe, and they have maybe they have Charles, maybe they have one of Charles's sons marry a Muslim princess or something like that.
A Muslim princess.
Maybe from Saudi Arabia or
You think
Qatar.
You think he will marry a Muslim princess?
Wouldn't be surprised. It'd be a way for them to keep ties with the Middle East and the Muslim world.
Definitely possible, man. But I don't know,
I wouldn't
man.
be surprised if he does it. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a daughter and that, and they'll marry him to a Muslim. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the monarchies, the British monarchy, a couple of years, decades from now, right? Would not be surprised if they marry one of their daughters off to a Muslim king, right, and they make him the king of Britain. This will be when I'm long dead, though.
This will probably be when I'm long dead too, and our descendants will have to kind of deal with that. Not that
in an ideal world, I would have Britain be absorbed by America. An ideal world, but I know that I don't honestly believe that's fully going to be possible.
It may be. It just has to become possible.
It needs to. It's either that or freaking face civil war. There'll be war. There'll be war and bloodshed on the streets of Britain. I haven't been for a long time. So what else is there?
Let's see. Chaos in London as McKinsey and Co. targeted by Extinction Rebellion.
McKinsey and Co. Wait, is that a British firm?
Yeah, It has headquarters in London.
They were the people that helped rebuild Lego.
Huh?
And a bunch
Interesting.
of other companies. So what do you think is the biggest big private equity firms?
Ooh, I wouldn't know, to be honest.
Because I invested in a bunch of private equity firms. I think that's where I believe that during Trump's presidency there'll be a bunch of big deals being made.
Hold on. Let me try to
Well,
look for something. What's up?
Warburg Pincus. What do you think where do you think the biggest ones are headquartered?
Biggest what?
Private equity firms.
It's either London or New York.
New York City, Blackstone, KKR, which I own.
Yes.
EQT AB, Stockholm, CVC Capital Partners, Luxembourg and France, TPG Inc., Fort Worth, Texas, the Carlyle Group, Vormel Bravo, Chicago, Warburg Pincus, the Warburg family, the Pincus family, Clayton, Dubler and Rice, Silver Lake, Hellman and Friedman, Vista Equity Partners, General Atlantic.
Hold on. I'm trying to find something because usually I go on Twitter, but I'm not on Twitter right now. I just disabled my account. But Trump unleashes major weapon against the cartel. The cartel is a strike. Is the strike immediate?
Yeah.
First 3D observations of an exoplanet's atmosphere reveal a unique climate. Using the Very Large Telescope, researchers uncover unprecedented weather patterns and chemical elements on the gas planet Tylos, 900 light-years from Earth.
So what do you think the goal is?
Well, I think these researchers are hoping to find planets that are habitable and can sustain human life.
Have I got this right? The world's liberals are enraged with Republican U.S. president because he wants to stop 2 wars. Yes.
Wait, they're
The issue
enraged.
is, they don't see it that way.
They're enraged because Trump wants to stop 2 wars.
Supposedly that's what he's making a claim.
They don't see it that way. That's why they're mad. They don't see it as Trump trying to stop the wars. They see as Trump trying to escalate the war as it is. That's how they see it.
48% of Arabs in Britain are economically inactive. 42% of Bangladesh is 40% of Pakistani economic inactivity rate. For white British, 23%. For non-Brits, e.g. Anglosphere and Europeans, it's even lower at just 16%. So what does that tell you? That we're the ones driving this economy and they're the fucking ones that are fucking taking the dole.
Tells you a lot.
Yep.
Definitely tells you a lot. Not gonna lie, man. I think not much is really gonna happen until we all pass away. Then maybe something will happen, but
US defence stocks are falling. Oberman Mums, Lockheed Martin, European defence stocks are rising. Rheinmetall, Thales, BA Systems, Airbus.
why am I not surprised?
European defence stocks. The thing is, though, Trump's playing a different game. He wants us to defend ourselves. Right? What if we create more defence products that are actually better than America's? And we leave them through the dust. As predicted, the US is getting frozen out of the world's arms market.
So, Jame, is there anything else in the news?
Yep, let's see. Strictly's Amy Dowden awarded MBE by King in Really Surreal Experience.
The real experience. What's
Yeah.
the what is it?
Alright, Strictly Come Get Dancing star Amy Dowden has been awarded an MBE by the King at Buckingham Palace.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
it is, yes.
What was she awarded for?
The 34-year-old, who has Crohn's disease, was honored for her services to fundraising and raising awareness of inflammatory bowel disease.
Oh wow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. That's well, I mean, I'm glad that she was honored, but tough to hear.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, very, very. What else is out there? The news. But yeah, like I hope. Yeah, I definitely hope that she eventually gets better.
Yeah, she
You know,
will, for sure.
Why does Zelensky think he's got all the cards?
Who does?
Zelensky. He has nothing. He's a little bum that will. He'll be a pawn He's a pawn that will get ousted.
Zelensky is my hero. What are you talking about? Let me stop. I barely even know who Zelensky is. I mean, I know who he is enough, but it's like
He's a Ukrainian prick that wants to take our money.
He's already taken our money.
Yes, Trump wants him to secure back that money by giving us prime real estate land in Ukraine, mineral rights. I'd also be in favor of fricking building a canal in Israel, not Israel, through Gaza.
I'll be honest. Which side are you on, Risk? Israel or Gaza?
Israel.
You're on Israel's side?
I think these people are very dangerous, Eric. I think these people are very dangerous. I feel if they were to win, it would embolden the cunts that we've got in our countries to do some shit. That's why I'm pro-Israel. I'm pro-Israel because I think these people are third world shitholes. It's a third world shithole. My opinion, we should probably just glass it. Glass Gaza. Glass Palestine. Rebuild it into a functioning civilization.
Oh, I'm surprised.
I also think there's too many fucking countries in Europe. I think there needs 4 or 5. I think Europe needs 4 or 5 big countries. Everybody else should just be absorbed by the neighboring nations. So I think, personally, I believe Ireland should probably be absorbed by the UK.
I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised to hear you say you're pro-Israel.
But I think these people, I'm not pro-Israel on certain things, but I am pro on the fact that I truly believe these people are a threat to our society. I truly believe that these people in Gaza, these terrorists in Gaza, I truly do believe they're a threat to society. And I personally do believe that. I believe they're a threat. And I believe that if they were to win, they would embolden the people we've got here, the Muslim Brotherhood that's in Britain right now. And I don't exactly want that. And to be honest with you, don't get me wrong, I have no problems with the UAE. I have no problems with Saudi Arabia. I think they're respectful countries. I think they're great countries. I think we can do business with them. I think we can work with them. I think we can interact with them. I think there are certain Muslims that we cannot react with. We can't work with, e.g. Iran.
The extremists.
Yes, the extremists. We can't work with them. You're never going to be able to negotiate with them. You never can. I personally believe that somehow kind of believe that we could probably work with Pakistan as well, to a certain extent. But I don't think they're there. I think we could work with Indonesia as well. So far, I think, from what I've seen. But there are certain Muslim sects we cannot work with because they're too extreme. And I personally believe people that are in Britain right now are probably even more extreme than the freaking people in Gaza. That's what concerns me. The fact that Britain wants to freaking allow these people into our country concerns me.
That's fair.
Deeply. Because I've heard what these people have done, Eric. These people tried to invade Egypt. Almost tried to overthrow the Egyptian government and Egyptian kingdom.
They did?
Yes, quite recently, a couple of decades ago. They also tried to overthrow Saudi Arabia as well. They did try to do that to Lebanon, and they succeeded. Yikes. Lebanon was a functioning society compared to what we were now.
And now they want.
Yes, and now there's an extremist shithole.
Yeah, and now they want to.
These people, these ideologies, right? They happened with Iran as well. Iran was a functioning society, prosperous society, functioning society, taken over by this radical ideology. Don't get me wrong, not all Muslim countries are bad. I don't think Saudi Arabia is a bad place. I think it's more. It has some laws. I don't think it is. I don't think it's slowly modernizing to a certain extent. It wants to accommodate people. It wants to actually integrate with people and integrate with the West, right? But UAE right now, I think, is trying. It's trying to integrate, right? It's trying to. It's slowly but surely trying to start selling alcohol. Yes. I think it's UAE, but it's one of them. They're slowly starting to sell domestic alcohol, and they're slowly trying to advance in the modern age. But there are some Muslim countries we can't interact with, and we should probably be cautious. When do you think Europe will probably start becoming one? When do you think when do you think Europe will start actually becoming like a bigger nation? Like, when do you think the big nations will actually start absorbing the tinier ones? Because I believe there's far too many nations in Europe. Far too many. Far too many. I also personally believe if Africa doesn't get the shit together, we'll recolonize them at some point. I believe, like
I'm also like, the way they're treating the African people, the white Africans in South Africa, right? Makes me question. Maybe we should just invade South Africa, free them, and literally give them part of the land, give the South Africans part of that some land, let them form their own nation in Africa, because they're kind of being oppressed and usurped, South Africans. I don't think they should have ever given all the land. I think, honestly, they should have kept some land for the white Africans of their own nation. But so what else is there? Is that it?
I think that's us.
All right. Peace.